In this video I am talking about this. This is Sony 24-105 f4G lens and why this is the most versatile lens ever. So this is not a review video. I am not going to be talking about the specifications and how sharp edge to edge this lens is. Actually, it is very sharp, but I won't be doing a test on focusing or anything like that. I'm just going to talk to you about why I have changed from using prime lenses or primarily prime 50mm lens, and I switched over to using this for photography and video. So I've been shooting with 50mm 1.4, firstly with Nikon and then with the Sigma Art lens for many years, and it's absolutely amazing focal length, 50mm for pretty much everything. But since I bought my Sony a7S II quite some time ago and I started building my rig, the camera, it goes in the cage, then cage goes on the rails. I've got a mat box at the front of the lens and a follow focus wheel to focus with manually from the side, and I discovered that it's very difficult to change lenses. I had to dismantle my rig to put another lens in and so on. So I have actually originally hired 24-105 Sony lens to try it, and on the day of the hire I've only used it for a couple of hours and I've ordered one to keep for myself because it's such a good versatile lens. Yes, it's not as wide aperture as my 50mm, it's not 1.4, it's actually f4, but it performs very well. The 24mm is actually wide enough for pretty much all type of shots, wide shots. It's good enough for vlogging. It's actually wide enough to hold the camera in my hand and film myself, and it's actually wide enough. It's great wide 24, it's wide enough, it's great for work, for tracking shots and work on a gimbal. The other end of the zoom, the 105, is very good because it becomes almost a macro lens because you can get so close with the magnification, but also it creates, which all zoom lenses do, it creates lens compression. And what lens compression is a phenomenon in which background seems closer to the subject you're focusing on. But if you separate your background from the subject you are focusing on and you blur the background with the widest aperture this lens goes to, which is f4, it creates this quite magical depth of field. It's not the same as a prime lens. It's probably different. It's not, I wouldn't say it's less blurred, less bokeh than a prime lens. It's just different because if there's a light behind the subject you're focusing on, they will become bigger thanks to zoom compression. So for that, I love it as well. It's actually very good for filming or photographing and creating that nice and different type of bokeh that I'm used to. Also, for me personally, autofocus of this lens is absolutely necessary for what I do. It's working great on my a7S II, but also I've tried it on a 7 III, which works even better. But for example, when I'm shooting on a gimbal and I'm doing the tracking shots, it will keep the face sharp regardless of my distance between the subject and me. I don't have to worry about this. It will track the face 99% of the time correctly. So for that, it's brilliant. When doing photography, when doing pictures with it, the lens is exceptionally good at focusing exactly where you want it to focus. And also, what's very important, it's got a built-in stabilizer. The a7S II and a7 III, they do have a built-in IBIS stabilization, but if you don't have a camera with an IBIS built in, or you want more stabilization, this is actually good. And filming with this on a full 105 zoom, the stabilization actually is very impressive. You just forget it's actually doing the job and your shots are smoother. You can do so much more handheld to produce better and smoother shots. It's not the lightest lens, it is quite heavy, so it takes some time getting used to if you're carrying it for a long time, like all day or filming on a gimbal. But saying that, it's perfect weight with a camera attached or this attached to the camera is a perfect weight to balance on the gimbal. For me, it's a very quick procedure because the overall weight of the camera and the lens together works very, very well. I've been using this lens now for probably 10 months, and I use it for photography as well. I do photograph a lot of food with this lens. I was very surprised after shooting food for many years and photography in general. I would swear the 50mm prime lens is the only lens to use for food photography, and I must say I was quite wrong. This does the job very, very well. And saying this, I have been using 50mm for many years, and obviously it's got this nice wide aperture, the 1.4, my Sigma Art lens, but I never photograph food at the widest aperture, only because the depth of field is just too shallow and you get a nice sharp point. But if you're photographing food or product even photography, you want to see a little bit more than just that hairline thickness of sharpness. So I always shoot with a 50mm lens at f4, and this as wide as aperture of this lens is f4, and surprisingly I can't see the difference in how I work in a workflow. Actually, this is probably much better because not only I can go wide and photograph table from the top with the different dishes on from the top, or maybe like a lifestyle scene from the top, showing the more of the table with a wide setting, or I can just zoom into a full 105 and get that nice squashed depth of field with a blurred background. It actually works in many ways better than a prime lens I've used for many years. Why do I like this lens so much? I like it because it's very versatile. When I do video and I don't want to be changing lenses all the time, I get everything in one package. I get a wide, I get almost macro closed-up lens, I get a 50mm length, I get everything in one lens without changing lenses all the time, especially if I have to move quickly and I have to keep getting as many shots as I can in short space of time. This is the only lens I ever use. Also, the stabilization built in the lens, perfect, is very good. It helps the gimbal shots, it helps especially helps the handheld shots. It just gives that extra edge of stability into your footage or pictures. So if you don't know which lens to get for your Sony full frame camera, I highly recommend this, just because it's so versatile, good focal range, you got a great wide angle for anything from vlogging to tracking shots, to great zoom for nice compressed perspective and a nice bokeh. Great sharpness, great autofocusing, great lens. And please comment below, tell me what kind of lenses you are using, what's your favorite lens, have you got an experience of shooting with this? Yeah, please comment below and see if you would be kind enough to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, the bell button to get notifications of my future videos. And this is it from me. Bye for now.